We bought a house on Alder Creek Lane in Cedar Hollow, Oregon, because the price was suspiciously low. The realtor gave us the standard explanation. The owner vanished, the house sat empty, the bank repossessed it, and now it was being sold. My name is Ethan. My wife is Natalie. We have 3 sons, Ryan, 15, Cole, 14, and Noah, 10. Everyone liked the yard right away. Behind the fence, the forest began. And it looked deeper than any forest should behind a normal residential street. In the middle of the backyard stood a big wooden tree house on stilts. The kind you see in movies. A real little fort, with a ladder and a small window. On the first day, the boys swarmed it. They climbed up and down. They peeked inside. They tested the steps like it was a new attraction. Ryan and Cole had fun for about an hour. Then they got bored. "This is for little kids," Cole said. "It's a baby thing." Noah didn't argue. He just went quiet. He didn't have friends in the new town yet, and that tree house was the only place where he looked genuinely interested. He started spending time up there alone. First with toys. Then with a book. Then with a sandwich. Natalie didn't like him eating outside like that, but I didn't push it. After the move, Noah finally looked like a kid again instead of a shadow. On the 3rd day, near evening, he ran into the house with something cupped in his hands. "Dad, look!" It was a small handmade figure. A little man made of chestnuts and twigs. It was neat. Too neat. Not like something a child throws together in 5 minutes. It looked like it had been made by someone patient. Someone careful. One of the chestnuts had a dark smear on it, like someone had touched it with dirty fingers. "Where did you get this?" I asked. "It was in the tree house," Noah said. "On the floor by the wall." Natalie stiffened. "So someone left it? Neighbors? Teenagers?" "I don't know," Noah said. Then he looked down at it again. "But he's sad." He held it gently, like it could break. And then he said, "I'm going to name him Mark." I didn't know why, but that name hit me in the chest. It was just a name. But Noah didn't say it like he invented it. He said it like he remembered it. "Why Mark?" Natalie asked. Noah shrugged. "I don't know. Just Mark." That night, after everyone went to bed, I climbed into the tree house and checked everything inside. The boards. The cracks. The dusty corners. The old nails. No notes. No trash. No signs someone had been living there. Only one thing felt wrong. In a narrow gap between 2 boards, I found another chestnut, wedged in tight. Like someone had pressed it there on purpose. I flicked it out and tossed it into the grass. Then I told myself I was overthinking it. Still, I decided I'd add a second lock to the gate the next day. And install a motion light. At 11:47 that night, I heard 2 short knocks. Not on the door. Not on the window. On the wall, somewhere near the living room. Thump, thump. I got up and stepped into the hallway. The house was quiet. Ryan asleep. Cole asleep. Natalie lifted her head from the pillow. "Did you hear that?" I nodded. The knocks came again. This time they sounded closer to the back wall, the wall that faced the yard. Thump, thump. I walked to the curtains but didn't pull them aside. I just stood there and listened, with that heavy silence pressing against my ears. Then, very softly, like someone was speaking through wood, I heard a voice. "Give him back." Natalie was behind me. Her hand gripped my shoulder. "Ethan, don't open anything." I didn't. I spoke into the darkness, keeping my voice low. "Who are you?" The answer came calm. almost polite. He's my son. My jaw tightened. We have 3 sons, I said. All of them are in this house. A pause. Then one word. Mark. The voice said it like it was correcting me. Like I'd used the wrong name on purpose. Natalie whispered, barely audible. Don't react. Please don't react. I stepped back from the wall. The voice added, even quieter. Don't call him anything else. Then nothing. No footsteps outside. No rustling. No gate creak. No running in the grass. Just silence, like someone had been standing there and suddenly stopped existing. In the morning, I checked the yard. On the treehouse steps stood 2 chestnut figures. One was the original one Noah found. The second one was new. It faced our house like a tiny watcher. Noah smiled when he saw them. Look, he said. Mark isn't alone now. Who put those there? Natalie asked sharply. Noah answered in a steady voice that didn't sound like him. He can't do it himself. Someone helped him. Who is he? I asked. Noah looked toward the forest. Alder, he said. Then, like it was obvious, the Alder man. The words sounded practiced. Like he'd heard them more than once. Who told you that? I asked. Noah kept looking at the trees. He did. That day I set up a camera facing the backyard. I checked the gate. I installed the new lock. That evening, I took the chestnut figures and threw them in the trash. Noah didn't scream. He didn't cry. He just stood there, pale, repeating the same sentence like he couldn't stop. You had no right. You had no right. Ryan and Cole laughed about it, until night came. At 12:12 a.m. The knocks returned. Thump, thump. This time even Ryan heard it. He leaned out of his room. What was that? Then the voice came again. The same calm voice. The same certainty. Give Mark back. Natalie whispered, shaking. But he's not Mark. The voice answered immediately, like it was waiting for her. He is. Don't call him anything else. I stepped closer to the wall. Not because I wanted to. Because it made me furious that something was telling me how I was allowed to speak about my own child. Listen, I said. Whoever you are, leave. I'm calling the police. A pause. He misses me. My stomach tightened. Who misses you? I asked. The voice replied softly, clearly. Mark. And suddenly I understood something that made my skin go cold. To this thing, Mark wasn't a nickname. It was a claim. After that, everything slid downhill along the same path. Every night, 2 knocks. Every night, quiet phrases through the walls. And always the same message, give him back. He's my son. Don't call him anything else. Noah, meanwhile, was drawn to the treehouse more and more. The older boys stopped laughing. They started avoiding the yard. Cole began closing the curtains before sunset. Ryan stopped going to the kitchen at night. One afternoon I climbed into the treehouse and realized someone had been inside recently. Not because it was messy. Because it was cleaner. The boards looked wiped down, like someone had used a cloth. And in the middle of the floor sat something new. Another handmade figure. But this one was different. The chestnut man held a tiny flashlight, made from a twig wrapped in foil. A thin strip of fabric crossed its chest like a strap. Like someone was trying to make it look older. More grown. Next to it lay Noah's jacket. Folded neatly. That neatness was the worst part. Not chaos. Not dirt. The neatness felt like preparation. Like someone was getting Noah ready the way you get a child ready before leaving the house. That night I didn't sleep. Natalie sat upright in bed, holding her phone like it could protect her. At 3:06 a.m., the knocks came again. Thump, thump. Then the voice, so close it felt like it was inside our walls. "I want to show you where I live." My skin prickled. It sounded rehearsed, like a line that had worked before. Then it added, "He wants to. He agrees." And that's when Noah quietly sat up. I didn't hear him stand. I didn't hear the door open. He was simply there in the hallway, barefoot in pajamas, staring into the darkness like he was looking through an open doorway. "Noah," I said sharply. "Back to bed." He turned his head toward me slowly. And he said it in the same correcting tone as the voice. "Mark." Natalie grabbed his hand. "You're Noah," she said. "You're my son. Do you hear me?" Noah jerked away, not like a scared kid. Like someone being interrupted while trying to finish a task. And from outside, the voice came back harsher, for the first time, truly harsh. "Don't touch him." I ran into the living room and yanked the curtain aside. The yard looked empty. But near the fence, where the forest began, the darkness looked thicker. Like a silhouette stood so close it blended into the trees. I opened the back door and stepped out barefoot onto the freezing deck. "Show yourself!" I shouted. The silhouette didn't rush forward. It seemed to drift out of the shadow. Tall. Thin. Wrapped in rags. Sparse black hair stuck to its forehead. Its face was hard to see, but the eyes were wrong. Not glowing. Not supernatural. Just wrong. Like someone who hadn't slept in years and forgot how blinking worked. It didn't look at me. It looked past me, toward Noah in the doorway. And it said calmly, "Mark. Come." Noah took a step. Natalie screamed and grabbed him. I lunged back, pulled my son into my arms, and held him tight. And the silhouette changed. Not physically. Its calm just shut off, and anger switched on. "You don't understand," it said quietly. "You're not his family." Noah trembled against me, but it didn't feel like fear. It felt like impatience. The silhouette leaned closer to the fence and whispered, "I'll find his mother." Natalie gasped. "I'm his mother!" The silhouette snapped its head toward her like she'd said something incorrect. And through clenched teeth it said, "No." That "no" wasn't an argument. It was a decision. We slammed the door, locked everything, and braced it. I sat Noah between us on the bed. He was silent. Too silent. I begged him to tell me what he felt. What he heard. What anyone said to him. He stared at the wall and whispered, like he was repeating something he'd been taught. "He's lonely. He's sad. He wants to go home." At 5 a.m, Noah finally fell asleep, for a minute. I blinked too. And that was my mistake. Because the next thing I remember is that sick cold in my chest, and the hallway window standing open. Natalie was already running, barefoot in a robe, screaming, "Noah! Noah!" The bed was empty. We burst into the yard. The backyard camera showed one thing, Noah walking out of the house by himself at exactly 5:17 a.m., moving steadily, like someone was guiding him without touching him. Then he reached the fence and disappeared into the darkness at the tree line. On the treehouse steps stood 3 chestnut figures. One was small. The second was bigger. And the third was shaped like an adult man, thin, with long twig legs, and a tiny smile drawn on in something dark. From the forest came the voice, far away now. But I heard every word like it was spoken right into my ear. You'll be with me again, my son. Come on, let's go find your mother. Mark. Then the silence returned, as if it had always been there. And standing on Alder Creek Lane in Cedar Hollow, I finally understood. Sometimes a house is sold not because it's bad. Sometimes it's sold because whatever stayed in the forest finally learned how to come back.